At my mom's second wedding, my kid's name tag said Cleaner's Kids. Her new husband smirked. You're just staff. No seats, no plates. Mom mocked. Food's for family. I took off my ring, grabbed my kids, and said, then we're no longer family. Their smiles disappeared, and that was just the start. You know, there are moments in life when something just breaks. Something deep inside you snaps, and you realize you've been living a lie. A betrayal so profound it costs you your own children's peace. For me, that moment hit at my mother's second wedding, when I saw the tags they made my kids wear. Cleaner's Kid. My name's Tony. I'm 37, divorced, and a dad to two amazing kids, Jake, who's 9, and Lily, 6. They honestly think pancakes can fix anything, and maybe they're right. I run a small cleaning company. You know, the kind of business where you trade sweat for invoices. To my family, though, I was just the guy who shows up, rolls up his sleeves, and makes it go away. I'm the only son to a mother who loves attention like other people love oxygen, and for years, I was just her employee, an unpaid one. Last month, it was her big day, Mom's second wedding. Think rented glamour, but with chips on the baseboards and a fake flower arch that smelled like glue. Mom called it a fresh start. Her fiancé, Rick, called it a production. When she asked me to help with the cleaning, I said, of course. That's me. Always of course. So, I got my kids little shoes that hurt and outfits they'd outgrow by next week. I packed a tub of cleaning supplies in my van, trash bags, glass cleaner, microfiber cloths, because Mom said the venue wanted extra for cleaning. And why would we pay when you have a company, honey? She asked. We arrived through the side entrance, the vendor door, she called it. She said it like it was a helpful tip, not like she was slotting me into a role before I even walked in. Inside, it was a circus. Servers bustling, the DJ testing speakers with the same song on repeat. I scanned the seating chart, looking for Tony or grandkids. Nothing. I told myself there was a separate kids chart. I told myself Mom would sort it. I told myself I didn't need a fancy card to feel like family. Mom swooped in, a cloud of hairspray and silk robe. There you are, she air-kissed my cheek. There's a streak by the bar, the coordinator's having a fit. Just do your magic. Hi, Mom, I said. Hi, Grandma, the kids chirped. Hi, sweeties, she replied, already looking past them at the champagne. I put my tub down and did what I do. I made other people stress my job. Then this woman with a lanyard marched up, holding a roll of printed tags. These are for staff and vendors, she said briskly, peeling off 3. Tony, cleaner. Jake, cleaner's kid. Lily, cleaner's kid. Jake frowned. Dad, why does mine say that? He asked. Before I could even answer, Rick slid in, smelling of beer and cheap aftershave. He clipped Lily's tag on without asking. Got to keep staff labeled. He grinned, like it was the funniest joke in the world. They're not staff, I said, my voice tight. They're your step-grandkids. Rick just smirked. Today they're with you. Today you're staff. My mom appeared behind him, saw the tags, and gave a tiny, dismissive laugh. It's a venue thing, she said. Don't be sensitive. Then, over her shoulder, where is that florist? I swallowed the heat in my throat. Where are we sitting later? I asked. So I can put the kids' stuff down. She waved a hand. We'll figure it out. Can you wipe the mirrors in the bathrooms? They smear. I checked the mirrors. I checked my gut. It was screaming. We had no place. 10 minutes later, I confirmed it. No chairs, no plates, no place cards. Not for my kids, not for me. I found Mom near the bar and asked again. She wouldn't meet my eyes. You're not on the guest list like that, she said softly, like she was telling me the weather. You're staff today. It's a rule. Food is for family. She smiled, and that smile hurt more than the words. Food is for family, she repeated, and someone behind her laughed. I looked at Jake and Lily, sitting on an upside-down crate by the kitchen door, swinging their legs, wearing those plastic lanyards that told strangers exactly where we stood. Something in me tilted. Not a crash. A slow, sure lean toward the only door that was ever going to let me breathe. And that was just the first moment. People think explosions happen without a fuse. They don't. There's always a long, stupid rope of little sparks no one notices until it hits the powder. My fuse started when I was 15 and my dad left. Mom said he abandoned us. I remember it being more complicated. He was tired. He was broke. They both screamed. He left. We stayed. And the bills stayed too. I got a job at 16, cleaning a gym after hours. Cash. I learned fast that other people's sweat doesn't care about your homework. I'd go home, smelling of disinfectant, counting tips in the dark. Mom would take some. Just until Friday, she'd say, and forget to put it back. You're my rock, she'd hug me, her hand still holding my 20. We're a team. We were a team like a bucket and a hole are a team. At 18, I tried community college. Work, class, work, class. The math just didn't add up. The van needed brakes. Rent went up. Mom needed a little help with electricity. I dropped classes and picked up clients. Houses, then offices, then rentals. My company grew like rust grows everywhere, slowly, and because something else didn't get done. Mom became my first client. She paid in compliments and guilt. You want your own mother to pay you after I raised you, she'd say, handing me a sandwich while I scrubbed her stove. Family is different. When Rick showed up, he brought the smell of sawdust, a stack of thin gold chains, and a voice that filled any room, whether it needed filling or not. He owned a small construction company, which was a polite way of saying he knew guys who knew guys, and sometimes the money arrived. Sometimes it didn't. The first thing he ever said to me was, "So, you're the maid?" He laughed like he expected me to laugh, too. Mom laughed before I could decide. Rick liked me when I was useful. He liked my van, my shop vac, my willingness to show up on short notice. He liked that I didn't ask questions about the cigarette burns on rental carpets or the mystery stains on drywall. He did not like when I said no. There was the truck. He wanted me to co-sign for his business. I said I couldn't. I've got kids, I said. I can't take on that risk. Mom called that night. I'm disappointed, Tony, she said, her voice like a shut door. Rick supports us. You know how the system treats contractors. You couldn't help. After everything I've done for you, everything. The list, as always, was longer than the receipts she never kept. When my marriage ended, I moved into an apartment with thin walls and angry pipes. Custody split. 2 beds for the kids, 1 pull-out for me. I worked days and some nights. My hands cracked in winter. My back learned new curses. Mom kept offering opportunities. Move-out cleans at Rick's Rentals. Weekly spruce-ups at their house. She needed me. Always, and always, for free. Or later. Later meant never. She'd brag about me online. My boy owns a business. She'd post with a picture of a sunset I didn't see because I was cleaning someone else's oven. Offline, she'd tell her sister, I know this because one day she butt-dialed me. He's not really career, but he's handy, good with a mop, reliable. And I listened to myself shrink by inches. The wedding shuffled into planning like a deck of favor cards. Could your guy set up chairs? Mom texted. The rental company charges extra. Can you do a deep clean the night before? The venue quoted $600, highway robbery. Could you cover the bar deposit for a week? Rick's cash is tied up, you know how it is. I said yes to more than I should have, because I wanted my kids to see me be a good son, and because I am dumb about hope. When I asked in the family chat, where will the kids sit? The bubbles said seen, and nobody typed back. I told myself the silence meant they were working on it. It meant they forgot. It meant anything but what it really meant. The night before the wedding, I dragged 2 employees to the venue, unlocked the back, and cleaned until midnight. We scrubbed bathrooms with bad attitudes. We polished mirrors so clear they made the room look expensive. I left it better than we found it. That's what I do. In the morning, I ironed my shirt again, packed snacks for the kids, and reminded them to say please, even if no one else did. We drove to the side door, the vendor door, and got our tags. I kept telling myself small lies. Asterisk, they're just tags. It's just the venue. They'll pull us to a table later. Grandma loves you. Rick likes jokes. Asterisk, then I saw my son reading the words cleaner's kid, like they were a word problem he couldn't solve. And I felt the little lies burn down to the big one. The big lie was simple, that I could be both their cleaner and her son, and it wouldn't cost my kids anything. Where are we sitting? I asked the coordinator. She pointed with her chin. Staff room's back there. We're family, I said. She blinked like I'd told a joke that didn't land. Talk to the bride. I talked to the bride. Food is for family, she said and laughed. There it was. Not a spark. The fuse hitting powder. 10 minutes before the ceremony, the room got loud. Laughter, clinking glasses, felt like tiny hammers on vinyl. The DJ announced something to nobody listening. My kids sat on that crate by the kitchen door, swinging their legs like patient birds on a wire. Rick came over with 2 men who looked like him at different stages of sunburn. He slapped my shoulder. After the vows, move those crates, he said. Don't block the servers. We want flow. His friend nodded at the kids. They yours? Rick laughed. Cleaner's kids. Part of the package. Package? My son flinched like the word hit his ear wrong. Take the tags off, I told Jake. Grandma said he started. Take them off, I said, softer this time. He unclipped his. I took Lily's off myself and pocketed both lanyards. I felt the plastic edges bite my palm. Rick smirked. Security, buddy. Staff needs badges. We're not staff, I said. We're supposed to be family. Mom arrived like a hurricane, pretending to be a breeze. What's this? She asked, her eyes already scanning the room for cameras. Tell them, I said. My voice surprised me. It was calm. Tired. Done. Tell them we're family. Tell them my kids have seats. Her eyes flashed the same warning they used when I was 8 and chewed too loud. We'll talk after, she hissed. Don't ruin my day. Jake's hand slid into mine. Did we do something wrong? He whispered. No, I said. I felt something in me lock into place, like a tool clicking home. You didn't. I turned to Mom and Rick. You want me as staff? Staff gets paid. Staff has contracts. You want me as family? Family gets seats. And food. And respect. What you want is free labor and cute photos. I'm done being both and getting neither. Rick rolled his eyes. It's a seating chart, not a morality play. I pulled the ring she'd given me at 18 from my pocket. She'd called it our circle. She'd said, family looks out for each other. I had believed her. If food is for family, I said, we're not your family. I set the ring on a table next to a card that read, Rick's best man. The card looked so sure of its place. Don't you dare, Mom whispered. You'll regret this. No, I said, picking up Lily and squeezing Jake's hand. I regret staying this long. We walked out through the side door we'd used to come in, because that was the only door anyone had ever opened for us. Behind me, Rick shouted, you and your kids are just staff here, like he was announcing the weather. I didn't look back. The car was quiet, except for the sound of Lily's shoes tapping the seat. Jake stared at the place where the lanyard had been, like his shirt might tell him what to feel. Are we in trouble? He asked finally. No, I said. We left a place that wasn't treating us right. Are we still family? Lily asked in a tiny voice. Yeah, I said. We're our own family. We got drive-through burgers, our nice clothes, and ate in the car. The fries tasted like salt and relief. The kid at the window said, nice tie. And I said, thanks. It's new to me. Because it was. My phone buzzed like a trapped bee. I let it. When the kids fell asleep at home, I scrolled. Asterisk Mom, answer your phone. You embarrassed me. Mom, your tantrum ruined my photos. Mom, you need to come back and apologize before people talk. Asterisk then the money texts. Asterisk Mom, the venue added the cleaning fee. You need to cover it. That was our arrangement. Mom, we wouldn't have booked such a nice place without you. Mom, you owe us this. Asterisk I stared at that last line. You owe us. And a tired part of me laughed. I opened a blank doc and made a list, like I was writing an estimate. Weekly cleaning at Mom's old house. 3 years, unpaid. Rick's house deep clean when they moved, unpaid. Rental turnovers, 10 plus, mostly unpaid. Emergency scrub after tenant disaster, unpaid. Bar deposit for the wedding, paid by me. Venue deep clean the night before, paid employee time and supplies. I added the numbers. It beats $600 by a lot. Monday, I asked my accountant if I could send an invoice to family. He said, you can. Whether they'll pay is another story. Then he looked at me for a long, quiet second. Send it. If they don't pay, treat it like tuition for a class you should have taken a decade ago. So I did. Client, M and Rick. Personal, no discount. Line items, dates, rates, total, $7,432. Notes, as per previous verbal agreements and completed services. Due upon receipt. I clicked send and waited for the sirens. They came fast. Asterisk Mom, what is this? An invoice for family? Rick, you got jokes, buddy. Mom, take this back. This is disgusting. You're punishing me for a misunderstanding. Asterisk me? Asterisk from now on, I'm your son, not your cleaner. If you want cleaning, pay like everyone else. I'm done working for free. I'm done letting you treat my kids like props. Asterisk calls. I didn't answer. Aunt Lisa texted, your mom is crying in the bathroom. Uncle Tom, couldn't you suck it up for one day? Rick's sister, trash behavior. My own sister, who lives far and keeps quiet, messaged separately. Asterisk mom says you extorted her. What happened? Asterisk I told her. The tags, the no seats, the sentence, food is for family. She typed nothing for a long time. Then, she really said that? I said yes. She wrote, I'm sorry, and left it there. I was grateful for the space where judgment could have been. I did practical things. I removed Mom and Rick from the kids' school contact list. I checked my bank accounts for any old shared access. I told my crew, we don't take jobs from them. If they call, we're booked forever. They laughed and said, finally. Work kept moving. Real clients still paid. The venue manager called me 2 days later. I heard what happened, he said carefully. You left quietly and didn't make my staff's job harder. We respect that here. We've got a contract for a post-event cleaning twice a month if you want it. I wanted it. I took it. I bought my team breakfast. That Saturday, I took my kids to a diner. We got pancakes, extra syrup, extra napkins. The waitress called Lily Princess, and Lily believed her. Mid-bite, Aunt Lisa sent a photo from the wedding reception. 2 little place settings at a kid's table. Cards that said Grandkid 1 and Grandkid 2. Plates untouched. Caption, they put these out later. Later. Not for us. For optics. Jake saw the picture and frowned. Is that our table? No. I said, locking my phone. Our table is right here. He took a giant forkful and nodded. Ours is better. Days stretched. The family group chat cycled through guilt, anger, silence, and fresh guilt, like weather. My invoice sat in their inbox like a small, square truth. I sent one polite reminder. Net 14. No caps, no exclamation marks. Mom texted back, you're dead to me if you think I'm paying this. I didn't reply. I put my phone face down and helped Lily build a castle out of folded towels. Jake added a drawbridge made of a spatula. The castle fell apart and we laughed. At night, when the apartment was quiet, I could feel an old noise fading. The noise of always being on call for people who didn't mean the word family the way I do. The quiet was new. It made space for things like sleep, like thinking, like not thinking. I started to notice small changes. My back didn't hurt in the same sharp way. My mornings didn't start with texts that used guilt like a crowbar. I ate breakfast sitting down. The kids stopped asking, are we going to Grandma's this Sunday? Because the answer was no. And the no wasn't a punishment. It was a boundary. The few people who matter showed up. Mark, my accountant, sent an email. Proud of you. My crew put a post-it on the van's dash. No free rides. My neighbor, Mrs. Grant, left a pie on our door with a note. Asterisk hurt a bit. Proud you protected those babies. Asterisk she spelled protected wrong. The pie was perfect. Anyway, my ex and I had a real conversation that didn't end in stress. I told her what happened. She said, I'm sorry, and meant it. She also said, I've been telling you for years. And we both laughed, because she had, and I hadn't been ready. I saw Mom once in a grocery store aisle. She pretended not to see me. I didn't chase her. The day the invoice hit 30 days unpaid, I marked it right off in my system and took a breath that felt like opening a window. Not because the money didn't matter, but because I finally believed the bigger math. Paying to keep a seat at a table where your kids are not welcome is the most expensive bill you can ever carry. 3 weeks and a handful of days later, my life is smaller in all the right ways. No weekly drives to scrub a house where my kids can't touch the good cups. No pop-over texts that mean cancel your plans. No pretending the joke isn't that I am the joke. We have our own jokes now. Jake says food is for family when he passes me the ketchup, and we grin because we took the sentence that hurt us and made it ours. Lily calls any table we sit at our table, even if it's a park bench with splinters. I like the way the words feel in her mouth. Sometimes I think about the ring sitting in a dish on my dresser. I pick it up. It's heavier than it looks. I remember the day Mom gave it to me, the way she said circle and always like spells. I remember believing her. I don't anymore. Not in the way that kept me small. If there's a moral, it's simple enough to fit on a post-it. You don't owe anyone your labor, money, or silence just because they share your blood. People show you the fine print when they think you won't read it. Mom showed me mine, printed on a cheap lanyard. Cleaner's kid. Rick read the clause out loud. You and your kids are just staff here. I read it. Finally. Then I wrote my own. My contract says my kids eat first. My time has value. My boundaries aren't negotiable. Tables we sit at are ours because we're at them. If you can't offer a chair, I can offer a door. Will I ever speak to mom again? Maybe. People change sometimes. But the only way they change is when you stop making it easy not to. If she calls me and says, I'm sorry. I was wrong. I hurt you and your kids. I'm going to do better. I'll listen. If she says, you owe me, I'll hang up. In the meantime, I have pancakes to flip and towels to fold with small hands that turn everything into forts. I have a business to run for clients who sign checks with my name on them. I have a life where I'm not a prop in someone else's production. Last night, Lily fell asleep on my arm during a movie. Jake woke me up at the credits and said, Dad, you were snoring. I told him that was impossible, then did a dramatic fake snore until he snorted milk out his nose. He laughed so hard he hiccuped. Later, loading the dishwasher, I thought about that side door at the venue, the one labeled vendors. We entered through it and left through it. I used to think that meant we were less. Now I think it meant we knew the way out. We have our own door now, our own table, our own ring, if we want one. 3 people, 2 kids, and a guy with tired hands who finally learned he's more than a mop. Food is for family. So is respect. So is peace. So is a paper plate with syrup on it at 8 p.m. on a Tuesday, when homework is done and the living room looks like a toy store exploded and nobody cares. That's the ending. And in the beginning, I'm not waiting in the back anymore. I'm not wearing someone else's tag. I'm not asking if there's a place for us. There is. We made it.